Welcome back. We have a new update. It's a new month, and so therefore we got a new tier list. There's a lot of changes, but there's a lot of things that stayed the same. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Oh, and quick disclaimer, my tier list today will be much shorter than the last time because most of the dinosaurs actually stayed the same. But there are a few major changes that I think will really impact the PvP tier list. Alright, without further ado, let's actually get into it. At number 30 is Gallimimus. Number 29, however, goes to Velociraptor this time around. After playing with all the lower class dinosaurs for about 2 weeks, I've realized just how weak Velociraptor is. Yes, it has an ultimate, and yes, it has a lot of speed, but it doesn't give it much. A good player can beat a Velociraptor any day. I was pleasantly surprised by Dimetrodon when I first used him. He's surprisingly strong for how small he is. His hitbox is just too atrocious, though, to get through all the bigger dinos. Dilophosaurus kind of redeemed itself after I used it for the first time. I think Dilophosaurus could be even better in the future, but for now its limited damage is what restricts it, and its limited speed. I don't think that's ever going to change, so I think we can expect to see Dilophosaurus hover around the top of F for the rest of its lifespan. Pyroraptor didn't get any better, it didn't get any worse. It's just a fast, low damage dealer. I mean, that's all it really is. I've had a lot of good battles with Pyroraptor, but it's still not good. Moving into the D tier, we start us off with number 25, Baryonyx. Actually moves down in this list because, its hitbox is redeemable, but it still doesn't have the damage output to contend. At number 24 is my first major mistake. Putting Mutodon as high as it was last tier list was a huge mistake. Mutodon is not good, it's just redeemable. Man, when I first used Pachycephalosaurus, it might have been the holiest moment I've ever played in Jurassic Blocky. I instantly killed a Reaper Spino, and yes, he wasn't as good of a player, but the fact that a Pachy can beat a Reaper Spino at all is insane. Pachy has an insane hitbox, and its final attack isn't as limiting as you think. A good skilled player can use it to his advantage, and that's exactly what I did with Pachycephalosaurus. Now, I usually take into consideration all players, but I think his final attack is one that isn't too hard to nail. So if a Pachy player got really, really good, he could even beat a Rex if he tried hard enough. Number 22 is Parasaurolophus. Right above it is Iguanodon. Styracosaurus was a little bit overestimated in the last tier list, so I'm fixing it now by putting it underneath the next dinosaur. After using Cerato for quite a bit, I can confirm that Cerato is actually pretty decent, although Cerato does struggle against more fast dinosaurs, like Eutyrannus. Another overestimation on my part, at number 18, we have Suchomimus. I really did think that the D-Rex boss and its amazing hitbox would carry it, but it just doesn't do enough damage to keep up, and it's really not that fast for how much stamina it has, so it falls to 18. Number 17 is Tarbosaurus, who falls underneath the Therizinosaurus. Tarbo just doesn't have enough to keep up with some of the higher class dinos. As I said, Therizinosaurus falls right above it. Therizinosaurus is doing a better job at keeping up with the dinos in front of it. Still not amazing, but if it does start to take off, I wouldn't be surprised. Scorpius is one that I've been really confused about. I think it's actually much worse than where I'm putting it, but because of its poison ability and a good skilled player being able to use it correctly, I'm putting it at 15. I think it's a good spot, especially because it's right in the middle, and Scorpius is the most confusing of all the dinosaurs, I think, just because it can either be really bad or really good. So I'm going to leave it at 15. If you have a problem with it, comment down below, and I'll fix it in the next one. In the B tier now, we have Allosaurus, who I overestimated a little bit last time. I think it's just a pretty decent dino. It doesn't have any huge setbacks. It doesn't have any huge redeeming factors. I think it's kind of just there, honestly. At number 13, the Carno falls underneath number 12, and Carno is really not that strong. And unfortunately, its final move prohibits it from moving any higher on this list. Had it gotten a better final move, it could be in the top 10 and maybe even be A tier. But for now, we see the Carno take the 13th spot. The Eutyrannus claims number 12, and Euty is one that a lot of people like, so I especially appreciate when it does well in the meta. Euty I don't think is going away anytime soon. I was using Euty the other day, and I was still able to clap quite a bit of people. Yudi is a very, very strong contender for maybe the strongest dino in the game at any given point, and definitely has one of the higher skill caps, if not the highest skill cap of any dino. A good Yudi buff could actually be fun because Yudi is a skill-based dino. So I think a Yudi meta would be fun, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Rebirth Spino basically stays the same. It does fall to 11, but it's probably due to switching of other dinos. The Rebirth Spino is just a really good small dino killer and a really bad large dino killer. At number 10, we have Apatosaurus, who jumps all the way from C tier into B tier. Apato has finally settled down from the D-Rex controversy and how much it's been involved, and I think finally people are starting to use other dinos, especially with the Christmas update. So Apato can finally settle back into a top of B tier position. At number 9, we have Ankylosaurus. Similar to last time, it rounds out the A tier at the first spot, and so Ankylosaurus, man, it's staying in there. There's not much to say about Brachy other than it's pretty much just Titano but smaller. Rex jumps all the way from the top of the tier list, I think number 4, all the way down to 7. And I've been kind of enlightened that its buffs mean absolutely nothing. I mean, the buffs that Rex got last update just did nothing to help it. And I think Rex falling to 7 is completely suitable because on multiple occasions I've killed Rex with a lower tier dino. At number 6, we have Spinosaurus, who once again takes just a mid of A tier spot, which I'm completely fine with. Spino's hitbox has been changed, and yet it still hasn't prohibited it at all, right? Like, it literally got reduced by something like 10%, and Spino is still very similar to what it was before it got nerfed. Now, if they hear this and they nerf it again, I'm so sorry, because Spino needs to stay at the top of the meta for this game to stay alive, man, because Spino is the only thing keeping this game alive. I'm just kidding, of course, but Spino is my glorious king and savior. Giga's buffs have really done it well. It's a very strong counter now for Rex, and I think whoever excels out of the two is always going to completely counter the other. If Giga's good in the meta, Rex is not good in the meta. If Rex is good in the meta, Giga's not good in the meta. And so Giga being an absolute tank and rivaling that of the Indom, it's pretty insane. But of course, it's still not even close to the Indom, and Giga still has a long way to go before it can get top 3. Titano takes the 4th spot. It does rise, but only by 1 position. I think Titano is just the tankiest thing in the game, and so it takes about 4 or 5 people to kill it, and it'll probably kill 3 of those people by the time it's over, so... Trike remains in the 3 spot because it's absolutely broken. I mean, the fact that it can do as much damage as it does is just unrivaled by any other dino in the game. D-Rex, of course, takes the number 2 spot. Now, of course, D-Rex has gotten a lot better as the skill has gone up with the players using it. I think eventually D-Rex could be a viable counter for Indom if there's a strat made, but for now, Indom takes over. And with that, let's segue. Of course, the Indominus Rex remains at its number 1 spot. I still don't understand why the Indom is as good as it is. But hey, if they're going to make the most expensive thing the best thing, then I'm not complaining because it takes the most skill to get there. Or wait, it doesn't. This is actually turning into a rant video. I'm getting really tired of Indom players, and they need to make something, please, to end the Indom era. I love Indom, and I think it's a really cool villain, but the way they introduced it was just not as cool as I thought it would be, and it ended up going towards the I play more instead of I play better, and I want there to be an emphasis on skill. And that is my main gripe with the game as of right now, is that a lot of things are coming off of playtime. And I know that's what a game needs to thrive, but this isn't that type of game. We're on Roblox here, and so I think it's very important that we find some... I think Reaver Spino did it a little bit with skill, but it's also kind of just like a broken dino. Buff the dinos that require more skill to use. And with that ends my Christmas tier list. Thank you guys for watching, and please comment down below if you have a gripe. I need to hear it, because if you have a point that's correct and I can move a dinosaur into its correct spot, then let's do that. I want this to be a tier list for the community. So please, throw a comment down below. Tell me what you think. And if you think it's perfect, then tell me what you liked about the video. Once again, Thank you to all the people who have been watching so far, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. Without further ado, have a good day.